Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Or since in this global world we can't be sure what time zone you are in, good whichever zone you are in. Thank you for having me here, albeit virtually or physically. I'm very excited. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Jack Ma's going to give me a speech. I hope he doesn't ask us to buy something. Don't worry, I'm not selling anything today, except maybe you selling your excuses. I want to talk with you about something very simple yet very powerful. Stop complaining, start fixing. If only we change one word, that word being complaining, we can change our whole life. If we stop complaining about things we cannot control and we instead roll up our sleeves and fix what we can go from powerless victims to empowered improvisers. From people who moan, why is this problem here? To people who grin, aha, I see how this problem can make me stronger. Why pick this topic? Because I see it everywhere. Employees complaining, the system is bad. Entrepreneurs complaining, the market is saturated. Students complaining, this teacher is too strict. Parents complaining, kids these days, governments complaining, economy is slow. Society's complaining, the world is unfair. And I thought, my goodness, if everyone spent half as much energy complaining as they would spending fixing, they would be running the world by now. So today, I'd like to bring you a motivational speech that is inspiring, educational, and yes, a little bit funny, because laughter gas helps all of our minds open a little wider, and maybe then you'll hear the message. Let's begin with the obvious. Complaining is easy. Think about it. You wake up, your toast burns, you spill coffee, your email server goes down, the bus is late, your baby wakes you up at 3 a.m. Boom, you complain. The muscles used for complaining are well practiced. They come faster than reflex. You don't even need a gym membership. But complaining has hidden cost. It consumes your energy, gives you a victim mindset, turns you invisible in the solution space, and makes you interesting only to other complainers. It becomes a club with a sad handshake. Yeah, that's terrible. I know. Then you sit and sip tea, waiting for someone else to fix it. Meanwhile, the world marches on. I once asked many of you, how many of you here at some time complained about your business? Raise your hand. In my mind, I see every hand up. How many of you then immediately thought, now I will fix it? Very few. Many of us get stuck in the complaining loop. That system is rigged. The regulation is unfair. The technology is behind. The investor is greedy. And so we complain. And we get nothing done. Here's the story. When I first started Alibaba Group, I had nothing. I had no money. I had no tech background. I had no connections. In fact, I had one skill. I could complain in English that I had no skill in English. But I quickly learned complaining won't build a business. Fixing will. Because you can complain all you like about the market being too competitive, but the competitors will still be there. You can complain that you have too little money, but the bills still need paying. You can complain that you don't understand technology, but your customers might not care. They just want the result. So complaining is like barking at the moon, loud, visible, but not very effective. Moreover, complaining builds a mental habit. You start seeing self as someone who waits for things to happen instead of someone who makes things happen. You start looking for reasons why you can't instead of how you can. And after a while, you'll be surrounded by other complainers, and your identity becomes the one who complains. You'll even get compliments. You are so honest about the problem, but honesty without action is like peanut butter without bread. Messy, but not filling. In contrast, fixing is harder. You have to think. You have to act. You have to risk. You may fail. You may look foolish for a moment. You may spill coffee again. But fixing also gives you power. Fixing gives you belief. Fixing gives you stories. Fixing gives you the kind of stories you tell your grandkids. Back in my day, I fixed that. Yes, I did. And then I went on to fix that other thing. So let's commit today. I want you to stop complaining and start fixing. But how? That's the next part. I want to give you 3 steps that form your fixing engine. It's simple. You might even call it childish simple. But many complicated speeches are just complicated when the real truth is simple. The 3 steps: notice, choose, act. Step 1, notice. Most of us only see after we complain. We say this is bad and our eyes glaze over. But to fix something, you need to notice clearly. What is the problem? What is causing it? Who is involved? What effect does it have? And very importantly, what part of this is my responsibility to fix? You cannot fix the whole world, but you can fix your part. For example, you are running a team and productivity is low. You might complain, they are lazy, management is failing. But to notice effectively, you ask, when does productivity drop? What task caused the slowdown? Is it unclear instructions? Is it tools? Is it motivation? Is something external? And of those causes, which ones lie within my sphere of control? Maybe you realize the software we use is ancient. Oh, then you can fix the software. Or maybe you realize team morale is low because they don't feel heard. Then you schedule team listening meetings. That kind of noticing moves you out of it's someone else's fault into here's what I can do. Step 2, choose. Once you've noticed, you need to choose what you will do. Don't try to fix everything at once. Choose one lever you can pull. If you try to fix the entire situation, you will stall with too many options, too much stress, too much complaining disguised as scrolling through options. So pick one action. Maybe it's, I will ask teammates for feedback next Monday, or I will learn one new tool before Friday, or I will set aside 10 minutes each morning to plan my day instead of checking my phone first. Choose not to be a complainer, but a chooser. You pick your fix, you commit. Step 3, act. Then you act. Action isn't always perfect. Action isn't always big. It can be small. But it must be consistent. You will do it. You will iterate. You will fail. And you will try again. But you will do something. The worst thing is the complaint delaying machine. You complain, you wait, you look around, you ask others, you survey, you procrastinate, and then nothing happens. Before you know it, months have passed. The market changed. Your competitor moved. Your advantage is gone. Your chance slipped. But the complainer never realized that inaction was his greatest complaint. So, notice, choose, act. Build your engine. Run it every day. Every morning, ask, what am I complaining about? Then ask, what can I fix? And finally, what will I do now? Then do it. Let me share some real life stories, or rather my own stories, because if I tell somebody else's story, I might be accused of plagiarism or making up content for this speech. Example 1, learning English and globalizing Alibaba. When I started Alibaba, nobody believed a group from China could take on American companies. Jack, you're dreaming, they said. And yes, I did complain sometimes. The system is wrong. We don't have connections, or they won't give us a chance. But then I realized complaining won't open doors. So I chose, I will learn English better. I will talk to foreigners. I will travel and meet people. It was humiliating. I made many mistakes. I said, excuse me instead of excuse me. I asked someone, where is the toilet? When I actually meant, where is the meeting room? And yes, I got flushed faces. But I acted, and over time I built relationships, learned how global trade worked, found customers. Eventually, Alibaba became known internationally. If I had just kept complaining, they don't trust us, we would still be small. But I fixed what I could. Me, myself, my attitude, my network. Example 2, the early days with no money. In the beginning, we had no money. Our office was a small apartment. We had second-hand computers. We had more enthusiasm than budget. I could complain, why don't investors believe in us? But instead we chose, let's use our advantage. We are small, we are agile, we can move faster than big companies. Let's listen more carefully to customers. Let's build trust. Let's deliver incremental results instead of perfect results. So we acted. We gave great service. We learned from mistakes. We grew slowly. And one day in surprising fashion, we took off. If I had waited for perfect funding, perfect connections, perfect environment, I'd still be waiting. Example 3, mistakes and failures. Yes, I have made many mistakes. Many times I've failed. I've started initiatives that flopped. I've hired people who didn't help. I've invested in things too early. I could complain, I am a failure. But instead, I chose each failure teaches me something. I acted to learn the lesson. Then I moved on. I fixed the next problem and the next, and that's how I grew. One time I attended a big meeting and embarrassed myself because I forgot the presentation notes. I could have said, the equipment failed. The meeting organizer gave me insufficient time. But instead I said, my preparation was weak. I fixed, I rehearsed more, I tested my setup, I arrived early next time. Self-responsibility, not blame is the pathway. You may ask, fine, but what difference does the fixing mindset make? Why do winners fix? Here are several reasons. 1, fixers build momentum. When you start doing something even small, the act of doing creates more energy. Complaining drains energy. But taking action builds confidence, builds progress. It's like riding a bicycle. The moment you stop pedaling, you fall. Complaining is like sitting on the bike going nowhere. Fixing is pedaling. The faster you pedal, the more momentum you build. And momentum helps you face bigger challenges later. 2, fixers learn faster. If you don't act, you don't get feedback. If you don't get feedback, you don't improve. The world gives you answers only when you ask questions and act. Complaining is asking questions without acting, so you don't get answers. Fixing means you act, you learn, you adjust, you grow. 3, fixers attract opportunity. People like working with people who do, not people who say. I remember being an investor and talking to 2 founders. Founder A, the market is terrible, no one wants to change. Founder B. Okay, this market has challenges. Here are the 3 things I will try next week. Guess which founder got my money? The one who acts. Others may call him naive, but I call him fixer. Action is magnetic. 4, fixers create solutions for others. Many successful businesses solve problems. If you adopt a fixing mindset, you naturally start spotting problems and creating solutions, not just for you, but for many others. The world has no shortage of problems. It has a shortage of people fitting fixes. So you become part of the solution network. You might say, Jack, does that mean I need to build a huge company? No. It means you just need to fix a problem for someone. It could be your team, your community, your city. Big or small, but you fix. 5, fixers feel fulfilled. Complaining leaves you empty or frustrated. Fixing gives you satisfaction. You wake up and say, today I made progress. Even tiny progress feels good. Over time, lots of tiny progress accumulates. And one day you look around and you say, hey, I did that. I once heard a proverb. A small drop of effort every day fills the bucket. If you complain instead of act, the bucket remains empty. Now, I want to give you practical tips, tools you can use immediately. You can start today. I also promise 1 or 2 jokes, smart jokes, to keep you awake. Tip 1, keep a complaint journal. For a week, every time you complain, even internally in your head, write it down. Why is this happening? I hate this process. She always does that. At end of week, look at your list. You'll see patterns. Then ask, for each complaint, what is my part in this? What can I fix? Choose 1 complaint to turn into action. For example, I always complain the software is slow. Action, I will schedule a meeting with the IT team to ask for 1 improvement. After another week, you'll be complaining less and fixing more. Tip 2, use the 5 whys method with a smile. Borrowed from lean manufacturing. When a problem appears, ask, why did this happen? Then, why did that happen 5 times? The trick, at the 5th, why you often reach the root cause, something you can fix. Example, complaint, sales are down. Why? Because leads are fewer. Why? Because marketing has less visibility. Why? Because we haven't updated our website. Why? Because our team is busy. Why? Because we don't have a process for website updates. Aha fix, create a simple process for website updates, then act. Tip 3, 1-day rule. I will move 1 thing forward today. Every day ask yourself, what is 1 thing I will move forward today? Just 1, and it doesn't have to be big. It could be send 1 email, talk to 1 customer, review 1 document. Doing that matters. It moves you from complaint to motion. And in 3 months, 90 days, X 1 thing, and 90 things done. That starts building your story. The joke. Don't wait until you have 90 things done before you're proud. Be proud when you, after 90 days, look at the 90 things you moved. Yes, the math is approximate. I was once bad at math, I still am, but this works. Tip 4, celebrate small wins, but not too much. When you fix something, even a little, celebrate it, because it trains your brain to look for action. But don't celebrate so much that you stop aiming. Don't throw a full party every time you send an email. Well, unless you want to invite me, perhaps I'll be there in spirit. Tip 5, surround yourself with fixers. You are the average of the 5 people you hang around with. Yes, the cliche might be true. If you surround yourself with constant complainers, you'll get infected with could-have-been syndrome. So find people who ask, what are we going to do? Instead of, why is this happening? And when you hear someone complaining, you might say in friendly way, that's interesting. So what are you going to fix about it? That will either convert them to a fixer or prompt them to stop complaining in your presence. Tip 6, don't confuse complaining with constructive feedback. Yes, there is a difference. Complaining is this is bad, I hate it. Feedback is this is what went wrong, this is what I observed, and here is a suggestion to improve. So even if you must raise an issue, raise it as feedback. And follow it immediately with, here is what we can try. That moves from complaining to fixing. Tip 7, laugh when you catch yourself complaining. Humor helps. I once had a friend who, whenever he complained about something, said, great, another complaint entered. He then ticked it off and said, now time to fix 1 thing. It became a ritual. So when you catch yourself complaining, pause, laugh, say complaint number 47 or whichever, and then ask, what's my move? That small moment of humor helps you shift mindset. Because I promised funny. Here are 2 quick stories. Story 8, the burnt toast and big idea. Early one morning, I burned my toast. I was late for a meeting too. And I thought, why does this always happen to me? I started complaining to my wife. She looked at me and said, you're complaining about toast? Fix it, buy a toaster. I realized she was right, so I bought a toaster. 2 months later, I found myself thinking of a business idea while the toaster popped. The irony, my burnt toast complaining moment triggered the idea of a consumer product. Okay, not the toaster, but something else. The moral, sometimes the things you complain about are simple, and the fix is so simple you laugh at yourself. Story B, the meeting with the CEO of pizza company. Once I had a meeting with a big pizza company. The CEO told me, young man, our biggest problem is that delivery is late. We tried to fix it, hired more motorcycles, improved routing, but still late. I said, what happens when it's late? He said, customers complain, we lose business. I asked, why don't you contact the pizza maker exactly when it's done, send a message to the customer, and reduce expectations by 5 minutes so you're always early? He looked at me like I was crazy, then tried it, and guess what? Delivery improved. They fixed. They replaced the complaint, delivery late, with an actionable fix. Notify customer, manage timing. And they laughed later because the fix was simpler than their complaining meetings. Humor here is not just entertainment, it's a tool. When you laugh at your complaints, you disarm them. Complaints lose power when you call them what they are. Small drama that won't help me, and then you find a fix. Now you may say, Jack, this is all very fine, but I'm really stuck. The regulation is oppressive. The competition has infinite money. The market is collapsing. I hear you. I've been there. So here are some ways to respond when you feel stuck. Firstly, accept reality, but don't resign to it. There is a big difference between acceptance and surrender. Acceptance says, this is how things are, but I can still decide how to respond. Surrender says, I give up. I'm a victim. If the regulation is tough, you might complain. But the fixer asks, what part of the regulation can I navigate? What market can I create? What niche can I serve? Acceptance empowers action. Secondly, break the big problem into micro problems. When you feel stuck, it's often because the problem looks huge, big mountain. You might freeze. So reduce what's one little part of the problem. Fix that, and then another. Before you know it, the mountain becomes a hill you climb. Thirdly, ask, what's the worst that can happen? Often we don't act because we fear failure. But ask, the worst that can happen. You lose some money, you look foolish. Then ask, are those outcomes terminal? Usually not. Then you act. Fixers understand failure is temporary. Complainers see it as proof. Fourthly, borrow ideas from other fields. If you're stuck in your industry, you might fix by looking outside your industry. I once borrowed customer service ideas from the hotel industry for Alibaba because hotels succeed on service. We sell online service. Why not learn from them? So when industry is stuck, cross-pollinate. Fifthly, keep your sense of humor alive. When you're in the trenches, it's easy to become grim, but humor keeps the mind flexible. If you catch yourself frowning at every problem, stop, smile. Maybe tell yourself, another plot twist in my epic business movie, then ask, what's scene 2? Humor lightens the load and unleashes creativity. If you are leading an organization, whether a business, a school, a non-profit, you must embed a fixing culture rather than a complaining culture. Let me describe what that looks like. Complaint culture looks like people raise issues with no accompanying suggestion. Meetings consist of replays of old problems with no resolution. Leaders say, tell me your problems, but then do nothing. Employees rank how bad things are, rather than ask how good we could make them. The phrase, this is not my job. Sound familiar? Fixing culture looks like people identify problems and propose 1 or 2 possible solutions. Meetings end with, we will do X by this date. Leaders say, what did you try? What happened? Employees ask, what can I contribute? The phrase, I'll take responsibility. That culture moves energy from complaint to creation. As a leader, you must set the tone. If you hear too many complaints, pause the meeting and ask, if that problem disappears tomorrow, what would you do differently? Then ask, what would you do today to make it closer to that vision? This shifts conversation from lamentation to action. Also, reward fixing. Celebrate when someone takes initiative, even if the outcome is imperfect, because the effort matters more than the perfection. If you punish people for failed fixes, you'll encourage them to stay silent, and silent is the breeding ground for complaining behind closed doors. Finally, lead by example. If you as a leader complain, our country, our system, our regulations, and you signal permission to complain. But if you say, here's what I tried this week, here's what I'm fixing next week, then you model behavior. Let's zoom out. You are not just someone working in a small corner of the world. You are part of a global network. The world has many challenges: climate change, inequality, rapidly changing jobs, technology disruption, pandemics, aging populations, automation. The list is long. If everyone just sat around complaining, we would be truly stuck. But if enough people adopt the fixing mindset, even on their scale, you create movement. A few micro fixers across different fields add up. When people fix transportation in their town, improve education in their school, build better apps, create more inclusive workplaces, the ripple effect happens. The cumulative impact is enormous. And you might say, oh Jack, I'm just one person. But let me tell you, every big change started with one person. One person chose to stop complaining and start fixing. One person asked, what can I do? And then did it. So yes, you are that person. Also, fixing creates hope. People see someone moving rather than moaning. Hope is electric. It sparks others. When someone says, hey, I fixed that problem, then somebody else says, if they can, maybe I can too. So you become a beacon, not just for your own success, but for others. Consider this, if you complain about the state of education, that's valid. But if you also fix one thing, mentor one student, volunteer 1 hour, design one workshop, you contribute. And maybe someone else sees you and says, I'll join, then you together fix more. In the digital world today, platforms amplify action. A small fix can reach global scale. So your start fixing mindset isn't narrow, it can be wide. This is why I believe the world needs more fixers than complainers, because innovation rises from those who act. So let's sum up. Complaining is easy and comfortable, but it traps you. Fixing is harder, but it liberates you. Use the engine, notice, choose, act. Build habits, complaint journal, one thing today's, surround with fixers. Leadership, create a culture of action, not lamentation. The world needs fixers, you can be one. Laugh, lighten yourself, keep moving. Today, pick one complaint, turn it into one fix in the next 24 hours. And if I may borrow a phrase, be the person who says, the problem is there, but so am I, and I'll work on it. Don't wait for magic, be the magic. Thank you all for your time, your energy, your willingness to fix instead of whine. The road ahead won't be perfect. There will be burned toast, spilled coffee, late buses, but you will be moving. And moving is everything. So I'll leave you with this. Stop complaining, start fixing, because the world doesn't need more complainers, it needs more doers, more makers, more fixers, more of you stepping up and saying, here's what I can do. Go out into your work, your life, your community, and fix something. You'll change your world. And maybe, just maybe, you'll enjoy it even more than schooling in complaint. Thank you, and now get moving.